Hello, my wonderful viewers. Welcome to my platform. This is Linda's TV show. If it is your first time of coming across this channel and you like what you see after watching, please subscribe, put on your notification bell, set it to all notification. In that way, you'll be able to get notified each time I upload a new video, even those without notification. Here we react to all forms of videos, international and local. Every Saturday by 2 p.m. we have our interaction section. You are free to call in to air your opinion about the happenings in our society. Invite your friends, share my videos with your families and colleagues. Do not keep this information to yourself. Myself, I will be sitting down here to watch this video together with you from the beginning to the end. Then we'll go to the comment section and leave our comments, our opinion about the video we watch constructively.
For the benefit of people who probably, I mean, they've heard the agitations in the Southeast. They've seen some of the moves, in fact, visits to the president. And you and other leaders of the region raised the point of equity, justice, and fairness as a cardinal reason for a Southeast presidency. So let's get right into it. It seemed you were trying to convince the president to support your cause. Was he convinced?
To support my cause as Davi Umahi or that of the Southeast, I wasn't doing any of those things, but I was speaking to Nigerians. I had that opportunity to speak to Nigerians. And what we are saying, the leaders of Southeast and the people of Southeast, is that, there's been this, insinuations and, dialogue and, will I say, pleading that this next president of Nigeria should come from South. And even the Middle Belt has joined the Southern leaders to say, look, for equity, fairness, and justice. And I believe that the Middle Belt people, they have their eyes on Southeast for that equity, justice, and fairness. And very prominent people from, Southwest, like, the very prominent, Adebanjo, has come out many times to say, look, for justice and equity, is the turn of Southeast. The Middle Belt leader has also come out to say so. The very famous leader of the South, Edward Clark, has also come out to say so. And so when we as Southern people, we are asking our brothers and sisters in the North, look for fairness, equity, and justice, this thing should rotate. It is expected that on the basis of that equity and justice, that when it comes to the South, that the three brothers in the South should be coming together to say, look, out of three of us, which of the region has not got? And that same platform of equity and justice should demand that justice be done. But I don't think that is what is going on now.
Well, incidentally, presidential aspirants in the Southwest, especially the APC, are having a meeting as we speak right now. And do you think that this topic should come up in their conversations, having the Southeast, take this ticket of the party? Do you think that's something they should discuss today, or something they might discuss?
Well, I cannot preempt their minds and their discussion, but from what I read on paper, it's like they want to, streamline the number of aspirants, because there are quite a number of them. The same thing with Southeast and South-South. So I wouldn't think that they will be saying, look, let us concede to Southeast. But my point must be understood in the context of what is happening now. And what I'm saying is that if we are saying we are jettisoning zoning, and we are saying that, look, if it comes to South, any of the regions can take it, then what is the basis of insisting and collectively as Southern people saying, look, the North, you've taken your turn, then it should come to the South? There shouldn't be any such basis. Then the bar should be lifted so that those from the North can contest, those from the South can contest. And that is what is called that fairness, equity, and justice. You cannot, come to a region and then you now ask those who have taken that they should continue to take. I don't see any fairness, equity, and justice in that respect.
You know, this is a topic that has become very prominent, and some will say perhaps even at the expense of the question of who is fit, who is, credible enough, who has the leadership capabilities. But I mean, it is where we are in Nigeria, so we need to tackle it head on. So, Your Excellency, are you implying that if the Southeast does not get it, perhaps the ticket of your party, then it should be thrown open to everyone from all the regions in Nigeria, both north and south, for them to vie?
What I'm saying, you've got to get what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you are talking about justice, equity, and fairness, and if you're not practicing it when it comes to the South, then you are blackmailing the North. That's what I believe. If you want to talk about equity, justice, and fairness, it has to be talked all through. You cannot get it to the South, and then you now shortchange the Southeast. And so Southeast is just good for voting for, their brothers and sisters in the South, and then they are not good to be given any consideration. And I want to tell you something, like I said in the morning in Arise Television, that when Ekweme, the entire North lined up in 1999 behind Ekweme. And of course, the South has been political ally of the North. And so they line up, and the Ekweme was going to win that ticket. But then a consideration was given, for the stability of the country. I said, look, let us allow, the President Obasanjo to come on board, to pacify the West because of the June 12th. And that was done. And even Dr. Bonneono, he's from my state, who had the ticket, presidential ticket of, I think, APP or so, that time, was also, advised to relinquish that ticket to, Olufalaye. So it's such that only those from Southwest, had to contest. And, we massively, as Southeast people voted for the Southwest. And of course, when it came to the turn of Jonathan, we also did. In fact, each time all our eggs, have been in one basket. It was during 2019 election. I said, look, as Southeastern people, we must give Mr. President 25%, votes, even though I was in PDP that time. And it was very strategic, and I have no regret, asking that. And even those who contested under PDP, if they had given 75%, to PDP, PDP would have won. So why do you think that it's only in Southeast that will be the, the platform that we must give 100%, whereas even those who contested the election, did not get 75% in their. So that is the point of departure from our core relationship with the North, because we continue to vote, one political party. But I'm happy about your state and one or two other states in Southeast. We were wise, and we had to give the, Mr. President 25%, during 2019. And I have no regret, and I have no apologies to that.
Well, you, interestingly, you also made that point earlier on when you were speaking to, the gathering of other Southeast leaders during the visit of the president. And you took it down memory lane to that primary, or at least the contest that eventually saw former President Olusegun Obasanjo emerge in the PDP. But it's important to also add that there were primaries actually conducted at that time. So it was a process where all of them actually threw their hat in the ring, and they had delegates voting for them in a primary.
You see, we cannot be honest, by half. When you do zoning does not exclude people from, contesting. It has been happening. There is no political, phase that there wasn't zoning in this country. And the body language of Mr. President, that, it's well disposed towards the presidency shifting to the South. But when the South cannot handle it, under, lack of fairness, equity, and justice. So we will continue to suggest that we shouldn't blackmail the North. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. This thing should be thrown open, because if there is no zoning, then you have no right to continue to agitate that the North cannot, also contest. That's my position. So we cannot be used, to drag the presidency to the South, and then we are shortchanged. So we shouldn't be part of that agitation, if such fairness and equity will not be also ascribed to us. That's, a position of a lot of leaders in Southeast.
Just to be clear, Governor, you asked earlier today that where is the equity, where is the fairness, and where is the justice if aspirants from the South-South and South-West are putting more aspirants than the South-East? And it casts a question of, are you asking those aspirants from the South-South, South-West not to run as well? Just to be clear, because you asked that where is the justice, equity, and fairness if they are more than the ones from the Southeast?
Even asking that, there should be more or there should be less. And I'm also not asking that, they should not run. It's their constitutional right. But I want to say that we have worked together. The Southern governors came together and said, look, the presidency should rotate to South. And we all thought that on the basis of which we are asking, which is equity, justice, and fairness, that they, had the Southeast in mind, since the Southeast, never tested it. So now that it's become clear that, that platform upon which we collectively asked the North to concede the presidency to the South, is no longer the platform upon which the realities are now based on, then it is fair and just that we should be able to allow anybody in the country, whether it's north or south or anywhere, to run. But if we are still talking about justice, equity, and fairness, which is what the leaders of the South, have been clamoring, and some of the leaders have been very honest and very sincere, and that's very encouraging to say, look, it is the turn of Southeast. And if the basis of action for the shift is on this platform of fairness, equity, and justice, and you are now saying anybody from the South can be, then there's no honesty and truth in it. So I'm not asking anybody not to run, but I'm asking that we should stop, that approach, because the approach is not an honest approach. We should also begin to ask that anybody in the country, including the Northerners, should be able to run.
So we have the idea of zoning between the North and the South, but you are more focused on this, what has been termed micro-zoning. And just to be clear, does this have any, history in Nigerian politics? Maybe you can just restrict it to the Fourth Republic. Is that something that has been practiced, micro-zoning, or just zoning? Zoning.
There has never been any time it is, fully and, clearly defined, North and South. But equity, fairness, and justice, are things that are written in our heart. What is just is what is just. And so, if you are three brothers, and you, me, Kayode, and one other person, and we're asking the other brothers, look, it is our turn, and you have taken your turn, and I have taken my turn. The other person has not taken his turn. Unless you're saying there are no capable, that third person is not capable at all. And you should be able to tell him what he should be telling his people, that there are no capable people in this region. Otherwise, Southeast, we have to wait, for their brothers to do another 8 years. It now goes to the North, that's another 8 years. And so what is the guarantee that the Southeast will ever taste this thing, if this approach is being adopted? So I think it is very unfair approach. And so going forward, we say there is no zoning. Going forward, we say that the platform is not on the basis of rotation to this and that. Then we should leave a free Nigeria and then let anybody, come and contest and let the masses decide.
Before we move on, but don't you think, Your Excellency, that that's maybe even a better approach to this? Throw it open. I mean, it will reduce all of these agitations, all of these back and forth about which zone is, which should be micro-zone to. Don't you think throwing it open might just solve the problem once and for all?
Why don't we be honest to ourselves in this country? Why is it that we don't allow the Northeast and the Southeast to take their turns, and then you say, okay, at this point we draw the line. Then any capable Nigeria going forward after these two regions, can contest. If we discard zoning, if we discard justice, equity, and fairness, we wouldn't know what will be the fallout. But I have to speak, true to the point that the southern people started very well, and I must commend the north. You can see that it's on the basis of, will I say, on latent, or latent disagreement from the south, because the north is watching, and there is no time the north says they are averse to southeast. We've been political allies to the north. So, but where other people begin to jump into the ring, then you can see that a number of northerners are also buying from, which I support, vehemently, because there is no way we will continue to vote for our brothers, and then when it is our turn, our brothers will not want to vote for us. What shall we be telling our people? That we are not capable, If you are looking for capacity, then you tell me what I cannot handle, in this country, based on what you have seen and what I have done.
What could be the fallout, really, of, perhaps an eventual, hopefully not, failure of the Southeast to clinch the ticket of the APC or become a leader of the country in 2023? What is a possible fallout? Because you touched on that.
I wouldn't know. It can bring the country to, a more defined, nation. Because every coin has two sides. So I'm a positive person, so I should be talking on the positive aspect of it. That where fairness, and the fairness is that if you are not practicing it, then forget about it. And they say going forward, no zoning, no practice of equity, fairness. But let me say that will be very, very unfair that at the time that the Southeast or Northeast should take their turn, then this idea of, zoning is not constitutional is coming up. It has a lot of implication. Because where a nation is built on inequality, is built, on fair play, then, there are a lot of implications. The Northeast, they have not had it. The Southeast, they have not had it. And I think the nation Nigeria should be able to consider these two zones, one going for the president and one being vice, and after 8 years it reverses. And then we can come to a platform of equity, fairness, and justice. And we can say going forward as a nation, there is no more zoning. Let the best, come up, and then, let the country decide.
Well, you talked about cohesion, and there will always be questions about how well the Southeast is even on the same page regarding this agitation. I know you've had series of meetings with leaders. Just how close is the Southeast towards maybe reaching a consensus? I know that might mean different things in the political space, but how much of agreement or cohesion is present even within the Southeast?
Well, one thing that is certain, by a number of people from Southeast, coming forward, it means that, they are creating a very wide, space for the nation Nigeria to choose. If are looking for, somebody who can fix infrastructure, maybe they can look at, towards Ebonyi State. If they are looking for, so many other qualities of the aspirant from Southeast, so they have a lot to choose, and they have to choose based on the mood of the nation. They have to choose based on what the nation needs now. Of course, the nation needs, a solution person. The nation does not need somebody who will be saying, I shall, I will, The Nigerian people are very tired of, these empty promises. But I can tell you that we have quality aspirants which the nation Nigeria can choose from. And we are not at war with ourselves. You won't see anybody from Southeast, whether in PDP or APC, who is an aspirant castigating, one another. Meaning that anyone that, God throws up, is acceptable to us. And going forward, you might see a new thing where the aspirants of APC in Southeast are coming together, to move from one region to the other to canvass for votes. And all we do is that when we get there, everybody will be given the opportunity to say, his credentials, what he has done and what he's going to do. Because what you're going to do is going to be based on what, you have done in your previous assignment.
Well, there's a lot of work to be done. I'm sure you realize that. INEC has said, well, parties have less than 1 month to get their acts together and conduct their primaries, essentially present their candidates. So the Southeast essentially has to convince the Southwest, the South-South, and of course, the North, the northern part of the country. So what's the approach of your region towards achieving this goal? Some have said, is it through this approach, saying let there be justice, equity, and fairness? Is it through blackmail, possibly saying if we don't have this, then there can be peace in the region and Nigeria at large? So what is the game plan here?
Well, if the Southern people coming together to ask the North to cede power to them is blackmail, then let the Southeast own asking for the same justice, be called blackmail. So blackmail, we cancel blackmail and we get back to square one. And the square one is that if the Southeast or Northeast are not good, on the basis of equity and justice, then it should be thrown open, and that should be the implication, because the Southeast people will not be able to explain to their people why they are not getting it now. Why even after the next 16 years, they may not get it. What's the guarantee that they will ever test it on the basis of what we are talking about? So these are the fears. We are not against the South-South. After all, they are prominent leaders of South-South are speaking to the truth and say, look, allow Southeast to have this, And then and nobody should say that, the North, is averse to Southeast or that the president, is averse to. No, the president has a lot of his friends in Southeast. And if you check the number of times the president contested, most of the time he took his, vice, from the Southeast. His lawyers have been Southeast people. The man who gave minority judgment in the Supreme Court in a number of his cases in the Supreme Court, has been somebody from Southeast. So we are traditional allied to Southeast, and so they are not afraid of us, and we are not afraid of them, And so the basic truth remains that justice, if we use justice, whether to blackmail the North or to speak the truth to the North, and their body language show that they were disposed towards us. And we come here and we begin to struggle over it. If I were them, I would say, if you are struggling over it and there is no more justice, equity, and fairness, it means you have blackmailed us. And so we have to throw ourselves to the ring,
Right. So moving forward now, as we wind down, ultimately, if a competent candidate emerges, maybe let's speak for your party now, from any of the zones or regions, perhaps the North or even one of the southern sub-regions, as it were, will the Southeast, you and other leaders in the region, would you be rallying around that person for the general good of the country? Is that a possibility?
Well, something has to be cleared first. And that should be clear is that you cannot take power, to the South on the basis of, equity, fairness, and justice. And then when you now come to the region, you now throw away that platform. So I wouldn't know what will happen, if that becomes the case. So I won't be able to answer for the people. Because you know very well that, people have, you cannot say that even if somebody comes from South-South to South-West, you don't have people from South-East that will vote for such a person. So I can't answer to that, but this is the general views, of, the Southeast people, and it's also the views of a lot of Nigerians.
Well, so one more thing, Your Excellency, and this is also something that played up during the visit of the president. And I'd just like to know how you received the president's statement that only the court can determine the fate of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. He seems to have foreclosed a political solution. Are you okay with that?
Mr. President has never stopped saying that. He has always said that. But you see, where there is a political solution, it's taken to the court and it becomes the judgment of the court. So it's not far from the political solution we're talking about. I had gone to see him, as the chairman of Southeast Governors Forum, and I discussed this matter extensively with him. We talked about it. For me, I never supported IPOB. I've been at war with IPOB, and I predicted the situation we are undergoing right now to them. And at the beginning, a lot of people jumped into it, and used it for politics. But today it is a pain in everybody's eye in Southeast. And so we wish it away. We wished, that it should be solved. And that's why I went to Mr. President. And our leader, Chief Mbazulika, also gone to the president. And he agreed for a political solution. But it should be us that should initiate it. And I'm asking the Ambassador Obiozo, is very, very slow about this, because I had gone to DGSSS, I've gone to the Attorney General of the Federation, and they were ready to receive them to discuss. I excluded myself so that politics is not by any means, adduced into it. And so Chief Mbazulike came to Abuja and stayed for 7 days, and then Professor Obiozo. So we should be encouraging the president of Ohanese to work with the IPOB leader, as Mr. President suggested, and then let them, bring something before the federal government and say, these are, what you are bringing on board. And I think that the president is not averse to that. But this matter is in court, and so he can't, openly be saying matter should be withdrawn and so on and so forth. But I think the approach is this political solution, and I urge, the leader of Ohanese, who is our cultural leader, to do something about it. It's been delayed.
Well, we're going now, but just to be clear, are you saying that you would love the leadership of the social-cultural groups to perhaps, have a dialogue with the agencies involved, DSS and others, to maybe withdraw the case or withdraw the charges? Is that the goal now?
You see, I cannot preempt what, the direction will be. But the important thing is that I've gotten that permission, and I went to DGSS and said, this is what I discussed with the president, and I went to Attorney General, and I told the president of Ohanese. And this is far over 4 months. So if the Ohanese president, should walk the talk, he should show up and then, initiate this dialogue. I wouldn't know how the dialogue will go, but they will be able to have their lawyer, the lawyer of IPOB will be there, and then they should be able to come up with something and say to the federal government, this is what we have. And then discussion will start. And that's what we need in Southeast.
Well, Your Excellency, Governor Davi Umahi, the Governor of Ebonyi State, it's been a pleasure speaking with you on the program today, especially after these past few days, which have been quite busy for you. Thank you so much for joining us on Politics Today.
Thank you, Kayode. I'm grateful for the honor of appearing before you. And
thank you so much, my wonderful viewers, for watching this video together with me from the beginning to the end. Like I said before, if you like what you see here, if you like what I do in this platform, as you have finished watching this video, please hit that red button that says subscribe and put on your notification bell to all notification. In that way, you'll be able to know when I upload a new video. Share my videos, leave your comments in the comment section constructively. Until I meet your way again in my next video, I still remain your Linda's TV show. Bye-bye.